Hello, hello. It's been so long, and I just decided to pop on in here, very impromptu or whatever, to discuss some Belle Collective season 3 came on yesterday. And it was definitely a breath of fresh air, if I do say so myself, just given what's been going on all across these YouTube streets this last week. It has been it's been a very trying time. So it was good to get another or to get a show that we are still in good standing with coming back on. What's going on, LNV? How are you? I'm so glad you caught this live, because like I said, it's very impromptu, but I'm trying to get back in the algorithm, y'all. I'm trying to get back producing content. So I had to just throw it out there. I'm going to try to get back onto a schedule in the coming weeks, but for now, just make sure those post notifications are on, so you know every time I am posting, and just bear with me. But yeah, nonetheless, this episode, let me know in the chat, what did you guys think of this first episode? I enjoyed it. I like to always, over here, we like to give clean slates. Okay, we like to give clean slates where we can. When the new seasons roll in on these shows, I like to give clean slates for the most part. So going into this new season, I'm excited to see all of the same ladies back. I'm excited to see where it's going to take us. I would give this first episode, out of a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 7.5, 8, maybe 7.5, 8, for what it was. I see that they're doing things a little bit differently. Like, we met Latrice's manager of her Goddess Length shop or whatever. We're kind of getting, some new dynamics here with the storylines and whatnot. So I was like, okay, we appreciate a switch up. We appreciate a change up over here. So I'm not mad. It was all right for me. Cliff and Latrice was a lot. I wasn't expecting that. And neither was I. I wasn't expecting. It's because, LMV, it's probably because you are someone like me that doesn't get involved in that type of coonery. So it's always very shocking when you see it happen, especially across, the television screen. It's really crazy. So at the same time, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this season, I'm really going to try my hardest not to get so spun up in their, I'm going to try to not get too spun up in their storyline, because at the end of the day, everything that, and we'll get more into it, of course, but Latrice, everything that she was saying was indicative of a person who is not ready to exit the situation. So I'm not ever going to go harder for somebody than they go for themselves. So, at the end of the day, if she accepts it and that's what she wants to do with her life, and she wants to keep pouring into other people more than she pours into herself, obviously not when it comes to business, that I feel like her business is the only thing that she's honest with about, like, to herself, if that makes sense. I feel like that's the only thing that, she's just honest about, because let me know if you think that Josh was, like, out of line. I don't feel as though he was super out of line, because one, she opened the door for it, clearly, because they clearly have a friendship that spans further than him just working for her. And that's something that her, as the boss, needs to set straight. Like, that is literally your job to, coordinate your business how, it's supposed to be coordinated. You're right. She said he's the perfect husband or something like that. Yeah, she said, I think I wrote down here in my notes. She said, I love my husband. He's the perfect man. And I'm like, in what regard? Because just 5 minutes before that, you was talking about, don't grab me like that. You're doing a lot. Da, 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 da. So it has to be one or the other. And Josh clocked her on that. And I'm not mad at him for doing so. He called it exactly like how we were seeing it play out in front of us, that she gets in front of the camera, I feel like, and says one thing to us or the audience or to him or to whoever, and then turns right back around. And when she gets in front of Zaddy, it's a different story. And I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to read her down or nothing like that at all. So don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I would be lying if I said that I feel like she's about image. You know, she's about image in all aspects of her life, which is fine for the most part, except for in circumstances like this, where it's like, okay, you need to be honest with yourself, because this is not a situation that is serving you very much. And I'm actually glad that we're talking about this, because this is where the season, the scene opened, the episode opened at, was with her at home. Cliff now has her, they have his grandkids there or whatever, which the grandbabies were cute. I'm not gonna lie, grandbabies were cute. I was like, oh, hey, grandbabies. Josh was an agent of chaos sent by Latrice. She didn't check him. I feel like he's there to do her dirty work. Yes, that's also an angle I could see. That's definitely an angle I could see as well. Hi, to Vicey. Thank you for dropping by. I feel so special, especially again because this was very impromptu. I'm just glad to see y'all in here, because I was very much very last minute with posting this. But nonetheless, yeah, I do kind of see he's not just saying this for no reason. He's saying this based off of things that she has told him. Like, no one's just gonna pick things out of thin air unless you're giving them reason to say stuff. It's always laced with a little bit of truth in there. So although that might have not been his place to say that, I do believe that the message was still received by me, at least. Like, I'm in agreement with everything he was pretty much saying. At the same time, I do think he needs to be mindful that, you know, you could exit out the door that you walk through, because right now you need them. They don't need you, really. I mean, yes, from a business aspect, she does, you know, need him to be there, you know, managing and doing this, that, and the other thing. I'm sure he's a great employee, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you need to be mindful. What is it? You know, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's kind of what's happening right now, because if it wasn't for her, you would be out here, you know, dealing with your water situation and not having a place to have over your head where, you know, there's clean water flowing through the pipes. So just my little 2 cents on that. And even when Cliff was, I still see him coming at this angle of, we need to have a kid right now. That's why I got married. It's a hoax. If not, do. Like, sir, please have several, like, for real. Because the woman said last season, and probably, I'm pretty sure the season before that, she's been saying it left and right, that she does not want to have a child right now. That's not her focus. And you should respect that as her husband, as someone who says that they want the best for you. That's just not synonymous. Those two things don't mix. And it really gets on my nerves. I'm just like, I feel like you could be better off by yourself. And that's not me trying to tell her what to do with her life. Because again, I'm not going to go harder for her than she is for herself right now. But at the same time, it's just like, come on now. And she even said it so. She said, I have to see it for myself. And I was like, boom, that should tell us everything we need to know. She has to see it for herself. And this is something I've dealt with in my own life personally. And I'm sure some of you can attest to it as well. When we are not ready to give up on a situation, or we're trying to give our friends advice, and we could be telling them all the right things, but unless they are willing to make that change for themselves, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So that's all I got to say about that scene. Moving right along, Letitia. She's still keeping up this whole business is booming, personal life, however, not so much. And she is also another one that is being her own worst enemy when it comes to this whole marriage thing. last season she was staying with her mom. She was super just going through the woes of trying to figure out if she was staying or going or what it was going to be. And this season we see that she had moved back in with Glendale or whatever his name is. She moved back in with him, and she was trying to turn over a new leaf with him, only to find out that he was still up and running through the DMs with the quickness. And I'm just like, Letitia, another one. How many times are we going to go through this? How many times are we going to sit here and have this same conversation every single season, where you come on here and try to sit here and say, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I just need some time. How much time do you need to sort out what is right in front of you? How much time do you need to consider and ponder and think, oh my God, woe is me. I need to go, or I need to stay, or I don't know what to do. Like, how many times are we going to sit here and do this, Letitia? Please tell me. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is like the umpteenth time that we're going down this road with you, Miss Ma'am. And I'm just, again, another person. I'm not going to go harder for them than they go for themselves. Yes, deaf ears, very much so. But she is down there picking up her son because they've been splitting up the time or whatever. And what this whole scene said to me is that everything's all cool as long as Glenn gets his way. He just wants to do what he wants and F her feelings. And there's no way that I could see that from the outside looking in, and she don't see that for herself. She has to see that. But another one, she needs to make that decision for herself. And until she does that, she's going to keep running into this same problem, because he does not know how to control himself. He does not respect her or their union. So why should you sit around and keep tiptoeing around what you really need to do? Pull the trigger then, and the trigger being leaving him in the dust. He tried to do this whole analogy about the windows and the rear views or whatever. I'm like, sir, you should have been in it. She should have ran you over with her tires seasons ago. You should have been a thing in the past. But for some reason, she keeps, this tether attachment to you. And I get it. You've been with somebody for 23 years, whatever. But at some point, you got to want to choose yourself. You got to want better for yourself. You got to want to not feel the way that his actions make you feel. But whatever. Anyway, she's wanting to get her own place at this point. And I'm like, I'm not about to keep doing this with you each season. I'm not. You need to go a step above that, which is exiting the marriage. Like, it's beyond just getting your own little place. That's cute. Yeah. Okay. That's supposed to teach him a lesson, yada, yada, yada. You tried the same thing last season and it didn't work. So you're trying it again. That's actually the definition of insanity, is to continuously do like the same thing back to back to back, expecting a different outcome. It's giving insane. Anyway, she made him strap up to go to Pound Town, and he did not appreciate that. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I wouldn't have touched him with a 10-foot pole after all of that. After you put me through all of that, like, I'm good off that. But to each his own. Not everybody wants to leave because of cheating or anything like that. Whoop-de-woo. But in this case, yes, I definitely would have did the same thing, especially when you're talking about there's a baby involved or whatever. So who knows? You just were moving with just sheer and utter disregard for yourself, your family, your wife, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm gonna protect myself, and you can just get over it. His logic and his justification behind a lot of things has been very telling since season 1. I think it was when he was talking about when he comes off of his long runs on the road or whatever, and then how she's supposed to, the whole proposal thing, and his logic behind stuff since those types of days has always been very telling for me. So I just don't expect too much coming out of his mouth when he speaks. I'm sorry. Anyway, then we get so Gucci. Okay, like, is it just me, or maybe they're supposed to be the theatrical, the comedy, the relief, but their scene was just giving fake and just like contrived for a storyline. Like, are you laughing at me? I wouldn't have gone back to begin with. At least he has an option to wrap up with her. Yeah, exactly. Like, hold on. I just do not believe that people, like, you give them so many chances to change. If they do not take heed to your words, if they are moving again with sheer and utter disregard for you, the well-being of you physically, emotionally, mentally, all of the above, they don't love you. They do not care about you. That's how I take it, because they're clearly picking themselves over you every single time. So no, he could never lay down with me again. Like, no, absolutely not. Baby or no baby, that whole situation was already too much for you to even get involved, for that to even be a possibility was beyond me. Like, that was already, no, I'm good. Move on. But back to So Gucci and JJ. I never watched that dancing show or anything like that, so I'm not familiar with his personality. I mean, I'm familiar with it obviously based off of this show and what everyone's been telling me, and that he's, funny, but their scene was just like, okay, like, are y'all about to play on our faces this season, or like what? It just wasn't that like funny to me, but whatever. Nonetheless, she is getting home from work and he is in there, like, I guess it was supposed to be sexy. For me, it was not. I was like, I did not sign up for this. Who can I write and tell them not to do this to my eyes again? Flag on the play. I'm good. I'm so good. Like, I'm good. But he's trying to plan this special night because I guess she's been working a lot, and it's basically, he's another one. Like, I don't know what it is with everybody on this show, and I'm not trying to make this a men versus the women type of thing or anything like that, but I'm like, I just have so much to say about everybody's thought process on this show. I don't want to see JJ in an apron and boxers, period. That's what I'm saying. Like, I did not sign up for this, but since we're here, all right, I'm gonna push through. And I did just that. And basically, though, at the same time, he thought he was going to be getting some, I guess, but it was more so about him dropping a bomb on her, which is the bomb being that he basically told his mom that she could move in. And I was sitting there like, oh no, sir. Like, that's totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Like, you told your mom what? Like, you might as well call her up on that phone right now and tell her that she cannot no. What you gotta be kidding me. Like, when he said that, I was like, that's never going to happen in my life. One, because we already have a mutual understanding. My husband and I have a mutual understanding. First of all, we have a 2-week maximum rule. Let me just tell you guys this, whatever. We got a 2-week maximum rule. That might sound harsh, but sorry. You can only stay up in here for 2 weeks. And that mostly means family, obviously, or whatever. But like, no one could just drop by here and just think they gonna be staying here. Like, what? There's just certain people at this point in my life, at my almost 29 years of life, because I will be 29 on the 30th. Yes, Gemini season officially starts tomorrow. Oh God, I'm speaking like Tambra. Let me stop. Anyway. But yeah, there's just certain people that can No. Like my mom, love my mom to death, but at this age, I don't know. Like we be good around, we be good like across town from each other, you know? Like we be good, we be good. No. So for him to do that was totally and again, hopefully that's for just for the show, but at the same time, that would only just substantiate what I said before, which is that I feel as though their scenes are just for comedy or whatever, because it wasn't even when she came in talking about some, oh, it's been such a long day. Like I'm like, girl, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to take some acting classes during the off season, because what? Like good to know I'm not the only person that never watched that show. Like I said before, I mean, I heard it was a good show. I'm not saying any of these things to be malicious or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't know, like I don't know what is y'all's agenda, because it's giving comedy. Like it's just I don't know. So she got up and walked away, just like I would have did, with a quickness. Yes, 2 weeks maximum. Sorry. What time is your flight? What terminal do I need to drop you off at? Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway, Tambra. Okay. I need to get her together real quick, apparently, because she is now living with Demons, and she is like been doing so great in all of her areas of life. Yes. No. Apparently not so much, because their situation's giving roommates. Their situation's giving, she just wanted him to pretty much drop it. Like what she wanted was not a husband and someone to be, trying to really mesh her life with. I think she more so wanted someone to come and drop their sperm off in a Pyrex dish and leave it on her doorstep. That's what I'm thinking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the chemistry between them is just not there from what I can see, especially when you're talking about moving forward in all aspects of y'all's relationship, yet you're trying to have another dwelling that you can frequent, I guess, when you don't want to deal with him, which is only going to turn into 24/7, you being over there. Like, since when does a man cave equal you getting a condo? Like, what? Right now, I am in my beauty room / girl babe. I got a sign right above my head right now that says Babe Cave, and that's where I'm in, and it's in my house. And my husband has a whole, workshop, hangout, whatever thing in the garage. Keyword is we are both still in the same dwelling. We are still occupying the same, like, overall space. So Tambra, if you don't want him to be a part of your life 24/7, and I get it, we all need breaks. Like, we all need breaks. Most definitely. My husband's not even here right now. However, you can't tell me that that's how you, like, no, it's giving Whoopi Goldberg a little bit. If you guys are not familiar, like, Whoopi Goldberg, like, I think she said something to the effect of, like, no, she doesn't want to be, like, married to anybody or anything like that, because she don't want nobody living up in her house. And that's what Tambra is giving right now. She don't want to have to deal with nobody 24/7, and she doesn't want to have to alter certain aspects of her life that mean, deviating from what she's already set for herself. Hey, princess. Mm-hmm. Tambarine's still showing her all her yeah, that's why I was talking like that. Like, I should be her for Halloween. Yeah. But yeah, she's talking about, she thought that they would have be less intimate because, they're living together. And honestly, okay, this part, I will say certain things do change. Maybe the frequencies of things, they might increase or decrease. Yes, when you do move in together, they might. I don't know. I will say certain things did change as me and my husband moved. We lived together before we got married, but we have, your marriage, your relationship is always going to be developing, and sometimes it's not going to be as frequent as other times or anything like that. But I don't think the goal should always be mutual. The goal should always be like, we're trying to move to the same place. And Tamra's not giving that right now. And I'm like, stop wasting your own time. Stop wasting each other's time and all that. As I said, she needs, yes, you did say that. You definitely did say that. And I think that, yeah, she needs some cats. She needs to put them on a self-feeder diet. So, they just come and just do their thing and then keep it moving. 2 months, we better be. Yeah, it was just kind of like, I'm like, what are you after? What are you trying to attract? Sorry. I'm just like, what? It's weird. And I am kind of like, oh, well, because at the same time, she's the one that was going so hard to get this man to bring him in the fold and whatever. But I think we're going to get more into what she really got going on, what's really tea, later on in the season. Hey, Dina Grant, how are you? Hey, Cleopatra. Oh, I'm so glad you guys caught my live. Hi. We were just going to move right along and talk a little bit about Miss Aikisha, who I feel like me, as well as some others, may have been a little extra hard on Miss Ma'am last season. But I'm giving everybody a clean slate this season. And I'm not mad at her. I'm curious to know if she has moved into another a permanent residence. I'm trying to see if she is going to really do what she says she's going to do. That being actually open up this open Fair Street back up or whatever. We've been talking about Fair Street since season 1. And I'm really interested in seeing if she's going to do that. And I honestly, although she has rubbed me wrong in the past with some things she has done or whatever or said, I genuinely want her to succeed with this. Like, I want to see this happen, because we all know, based on some other things, some other shows, maybe we're not gonna say no names, that a lot of times people promise things and don't deliver on them. But this could be something that can really bring Black, unity, and it could really do some good in Jackson. I've never been there, but it could be great for the Black community. And I hope she really keeps her word and does it. She said that she got some, what was it? She has the building that was passed down to her. She submitted the proposal. She got her team of people behind her. So we're just gonna have to see, y'all. I think she did that for her parents and because people were talking about her. Aikisha? Is that who you're talking about? She did. I was talking too much. Hold on. I just but they did all that. And Willie's not there. I am interested to see how they're going to be navigating their marriage with this whole them being basically by with that Jackson. He's in New York. Yeah, with them being on two sides, however many miles away from each other, Monday through Friday. I am interested to see how that works out for them, because she's back home with the babies. And I don't know. I hope that doesn't deter her from reaching her goals. So we'll just have to wait and stay tuned for that. But her and So Gucci are on better terms this season. I kind of thought it was just stupid, that whole thing last season anyway. And everybody, when you come on a show, you're going to be prejudged, of course. You're going to be, looked at a certain way, and people are going to say what they want to say or whatever. So it wasn't really too alarming that they kind of were like sizing each other up, if you will, last season. That's kind of what it was giving me. Oh, you're talking about Tambra. Duh. See, I'm talking a mile a minute. I think she did that for her parents and because people are talking about her. Yeah, I think so. And I'm not saying that she doesn't want. A lot of times in life, I feel like we can want things and it could look all, fine and dandy from the outside. But at the same time, when we actually get knees deep in the ish, we're like, okay, maybe this is not what I exactly bargained for. Or you're only doing things because of, like you're saying, society or your parents or your family, your friends or whoever, or you're just like, oh, all my friends are having kids right now. I guess that's just what we're supposed to be doing right now in life. And it's just like, no, it's okay for you to deviate and for you to set your own your own goals and paths and time frame for things in life. I am someone also who, like, is at an age, I don't have no kids. Yes, I'm married, but people are always asking, oh, when you have kids, when you're gonna have kids. And I'm just like, when I'm ready, when I want to, when it's time. Like, you just never know, one, what anybody is going through, and two, you don't know what else they want to do in life, that maybe that's not their main focus, and it's okay. And I feel like a lot of times we just think that, oh, because everybody else is doing this, or because this is what society deems as quote unquote normal, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And it's just like, you will save yourself a lot of stress, heartache, and all that if you just be real with yourself and say, nah, that's not really even what I'm after right now. But nonetheless, Keisha is still not feeling Miss Tambra, actually, coincidentally. And I can't blame her. She is justified in her feelings, if you ask me, because Tambra, like, your situation is not making sense, girl. It's not. it's not. We're seeing some cracks and fractures all up in there. Okay. And circling back to Letitia, she's looking for this 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom place or whatever. And I'm just like I just said, why are you taking these little baby steps back and forward when in all actuality, you should be looking for a divorce attorney? I'm sorry, you should, because this is just going to have him singing sweet nothings up at your window like freaking Rapunzel or something. This man is not going to learn, and at this point it's not your job to teach him, like you said, like how to be a good husband or like anything like that. It's not your job to try to teach him to be what you need in somebody. You've given him 23 years to get it together, if I'm not mistaken, and he has not done so since. Leave him permanently. Move on to something that serves you better, because it's not Glendale, if you ask me, or the other people on Twitter, because they were saying the same thing. So, but yeah, Gucci is showing her a place, and Marie shows up. This is our first time seeing Marie, and Marie looks good. Like, everybody looked good, this first episode or whatever. But maybe because she's wearing my favorite color, I don't know. Maybe because she wasn't wearing this blonde wig. But Marie looked good. She shows up, and they look at the place. Blah blah blah. And so Gucci brings up this whole, like, having a knife in her back right now because of Latrice. Because long story short, when Gucci was taking Latrice around to find a new place to migrate to transition to take her business and expand, she was using Gucci services as a realtor, a real estate agent, I should say, and she kind of ghosted her and went with somebody else and closed the deal with somebody else. And of course, Gucci took offense to that, because she's like, we're supposed to be girls. Like, we're supposed to be, friends at the end of the day. Like, why couldn't you, tell me? Like, why would you do that? Like, she basically feels like she snaked her out. And I was like, I can't even really argue with that, because of the fact that at minimum, if this is somebody, especially if this is someone you're friends with and you're doing business with them, whatever, even if you're not friends, you can at least it is courteous of you to just give them a heads up and say, hey girl, like I'm going to go with this other person or whatever. I wasn't going to come on camera, but do you guys want me to come on camera? Because I feel like I look crazy right now. Anyway, but at minimum, you can just say, hey, I'm going to go with this other person instead. Prime example, I did this like 2 weeks ago. I was going to group trip and we were like, the dates don't line up. We're actually not going to be able to go. And the person who was coordinating it for us, we decided, like, yeah, we weren't gonna go. And we at least called her and let her know that. And she was so grateful that we called her, because a lot of times people will continuously like reach out to you thinking like, are you still interested? Like genuinely, like what's going on? And then other times it's just, that's not good business practice. And as another businesswoman, I feel like, yeah, that's a lesson that you should have known better. And I get it on the other hand, where Latrice was like, business has gotta, business is business. I gotta keep it moving. I got, my own timeline. I gotta make it do what it do. Like, I get that as well. But at the end of the day, communication works both ways. At the end of the day, you can at least just take in 5 minutes of your time to say, hey, I appreciate you, but I'm gonna just have to do this. Because at the end of the day, and let me stop saying that. That would give Gucci nothing to argue about. Then that would give her no room to say anything bad about, because it's like, she had to do what she had to do for her business, and sometimes that means going with another, professional. But you got to at least give that person the courtesy, that's just how I see that whole situation. But basically, so Gucci told her side of things to Marie and Letitia, and of course Marie had to put her little 2 cents on it and her stank on it, because as I know, that Marie has never saw it for Latrice since season 1. So she, this just gave her another opportunity to tell the world that Latrice is a snake. So that's going to be kind of the drama there this season. So I guess we'll just have to stay tuned for that. And then Marie also said something that I kind of, alluded to before, where it was like, she asks Letitia if she really means business. Have you stopped, laying down with your husband, Glendale? And I'm just like, Marie, if she really means business, she would divorce him. That's the real thing. That's what means business equates to me. That's what that means to me, that you are no longer going to be pursuing a long-term committed relationship with this man. That's what that means. Forget laying down, forget sharing a house, forget all that. You need to make a permanent decision at this point, because he just keeps coming and playing in our faces every season and apologizing just to mess up, just to apologize to mess up, to apologize to mess up. And I'm over it. And you should be over it too. Anyway, Latrice, speaking of her business, she had to unfortunately move back into the storefront that she had prior to. And she's only actually in half of the building that she had, the storefront that she had before, because she had like a double or whatever. And the other side is now being occupied by another tenant, another business. So she has to only operate out of this one side. And she's just like, I can't believe this, basically, if So Gucci would have showed me more places, if she would have did her job, I wouldn't have to go and seek somebody else out. And we wouldn't have had to move back in here temporarily, because it's going to take at least, like, I think she said 6 months, 9 months, something like that, to move into the new space. So, and she's pretty unapologetic about it. So that's already going to tell me that, given the fact that she's unapologetic, and then So Gucci's also very, she's very purposeful about the angle that she's coming from, and passionate, I should say, that yes, this is going to be a definite point of contention. And Josh is there again. And one more time for Josh, I do think, yes, he should definitely be mindful of the things he says, how he says it, blah, blah, blah. However, he's only speaking about it based on the fact that Latrice has told him something before. She's only upset about it, or it's only an issue now because the cameras are there and Cliff is going to see it or whatever. Before this, had the cameras not been there, I do not feel as though Latrice would have an issue with what Josh is saying at all. I do not feel as though. So, given that, I'm not mad at him, and I'm not going to hold him like to, yes, he may be the agent of chaos, but again, the things that he was saying, I was listening to stuff that he was saying, and that can only come from somebody who's heard it from the source, seen it, or whatever. And he would know even better than us because he's been saying there. So there's that. So, her and Josh, they bicker for a second, and he's still calling her out because he don't think that they should be married based off of something, obviously. And I gotta agree, based on the last 10 minutes of this episode, telling me everything I need to know about how Latrice and Cliff must communicate behind the scenes. Josh is a time sucker set up to come at us with. Again, it's the way in which he's doing it that's like, okay. However, I'm not mad at him because I guess he's saying everything that I want to say. So I guess that's why I'm not mad at him. And this is when she says before, as we were talking about, she's talking about, how she loves her husband, or I think this is when she says this, or maybe this is the final scene. I don't remember, but I'm just not upset at him as much as other people were, because he was saying everything that I was thinking, y'all. So after this, Latrice decides that she's going to go out after work and, have a little drink with her friend or whatever. When I tell you that Cliff blew an entire gasket over this because basically she didn't seek his permission out in time and she just did what she wanted to do. Mind you, the last time I checked, Latrice was a grown woman. Last time I checked, Latrice is not his daughter. Last time I checked, Latrice can get in her car and drive off and do as she pleases. So why do you feel the need to basically run down on her at the bar and try to tell her how she was out of pocket, out of line, how it needs to be basically your way or no way? And if you put your foot down and say something, that it's just got to go that way. That's not something that I would want to be involved in. That's not somebody I would want to be involved with because who? Because what? Like you can't speak to me that way. You can't demand those things of me. You can't think that you have that type of authority over me. Like, no. So he comes in and let me know if you guys caught it, because I didn't. I have to watch it back to really slow down that scene. There was just so much going on. Did he call her the B word? Because someone told me that he did. So I don't know. There was a lot of beeps and different stuff. So I'm not sure. But I didn't know that another adult needed to seek out another adult's permission, because it wasn't even like I tell my husband where I'm going and whatever. We definitely communicate and correspond about where each other is going and stuff like that, obviously. But never do I feel the need to be like on some dictator stuff and vice versa. That would never fly. And I feel like he plays off of the fact that Latrice is someone who grew up with a strained relationship with their father and stuff like that. He knows she has daddy issues. It's just not cool. He definitely plays off of these things, and the way he was speaking to her was not cool, and I don't see how anyone can even attempt to defend that. And this is again why Josh feels confident and comfortable in saying what he says. Is based on the fact that not only does this man like say little crazy stuff, he's down here acting crazy. You're clearly not happy. You said that. You said like you're just out to put everybody else's happiness before you. So why are you subjecting yourself to this? And I feel like as someone who cares about you or whatever, I guess Josh sees it as his job to say this. She said that like when he gets like this is Latrice speaking about Cliff, that he starts to treat her like his daughter or something like that. And I was just like, what? Like, see, exactly. Which means that's probably always in the back of his head, like thinking that that's always like the type of authority figure he probably tries to be, even like when the cameras aren't around. And when I tell you he like the way he forcibly grabbed her to try to make her do what he was saying, because she wasn't moving at the speed that he wanted her to, or he wasn't doing the thing that he wanted her to do. Trash. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. Like, there's no way in the world that he should be over there conducting himself like that, thinking that he can get that off. Slings the mic. And she's talking about something, you better not break they stuff or whatever. It's just like, what? Telling the cameras to get back and just way too much. And the way that he was speaking in the confessionals tells me, again, everything I needed to say or to know, which was that he thinks that he is the overarching voice of authority in their lives. And he said it himself. He's like, in the household, like it's basically what he says goes, and when he says stop, it's going to have to stop. Hey, Monique King. Happy Saturday, y'all. I catch the replay. Run, Latrice. Yes, run fast. Put on your tennis shoes, and you need to be, I need to see smoke coming off your feet, because there is no way that you can sit here and tell me in one scene that you were just so happy and he's the best husband and he's this and he's that and blah, 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 blah. And then 2 scenes later, he comes in here. He comes in here freaking being like Ike Turner. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that. But nonetheless, that was the last scene that we were left with to resonate on for the next week, because it's coming back on it's going to come on Fridays, which is fine by me because Love After Lockups are on right now. I missed him grabbing her, but when I saw his finger in the face, you need to go watch it back, because that's what solidified everything I needed to see. I mean, I didn't need to see, but I feel more justified in saying what I'm saying now. I feel like I can say it with much more conviction now that I because, people like to ignore all the red flags. People like to literally ignore things and think that like people cannot be abusive. I feel like just because you're not maybe showing up in a way that they are familiar with when it comes to abuse or something like that. And this is not me trying to, because I don't, at the end of the day, no, I don't know. This is all just based on, and where's it at? my own thoughts or opinions or whatever. Just because somebody's situation does not look like what you are used to seeing when people are in these situations, doesn't mean that what's going on is right or whatever. Like, clearly she's saying she's not happy. She's saying all these things on one hand. Obviously, it's not just for no reason. Like, obviously there's more there. And if he feels so comfortable doing these things in front of the camera, like, I'm sorry, but like, what could we think is going on when the cameras aren't rolling? I don't know. Like, again, y'all get me together in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm still looking forward to this season. I think it was a good first episode. I'm excited to see what's to come. I seen somebody, I seen an ultrasound on the trailer or whatever. Please tell me, like, honestly, at this point, looking at this photo, doesn't need to be pregnant. She, like, I'm never telling anybody what to do with their bodies, but I personally do not believe that anybody really, for the most part, on this show needs to be having a child right now. Yeah, I said that pretty much across the board because they're all at a transitional point in their lives from what we're seeing on this TV screen, and certain people have vocalized that that's just not what they want for themselves right now, and we should respect that. That better be like somebody's grandchild or something like that. And again, since I did not watch that Dancing Divas, I don't even know the name of the show, but because I didn't watch that other show, I don't like. A lot of people were saying like, oh, Selena, I'm team Selena. I don't care about Gucci. When it comes to Selena, like, she needs to, we know her longer, blah, blah, blah. I never watched the show, so I can't speak on that, but I am like, ooh, child, what's going to happen? What's going to happen over here? Because it looks like it's about to go down at some point during the season between them two. And, they have a blended family or whatever. And I'm like, I wonder, like, ooh, has this always been y'all's like dynamic? She's not happy, but he's the perfect husband. Those two things are not synonymous. And that's why I'm like, it's not, the math is not mathing on that. It's not at all. Like, dancing dolls. Let me get that in my mind. But yeah, I'm excited to see this season. Some of these storylines I can do without, and I hope they die this season. But as far as everything else, I'm excited to see. They didn't talk bad about each other. What are people saying? You're talking about So Gucci and this Selena. I don't know. I don't know the history or anything behind anything when it comes to them. But we did see that there seems like there's gonna be some words exchanged towards the end of the season between them. So I never want to see families in turmoil, but again, I would be lying to say if I said I'm not curious to know how we got to that point. So stay tuned. Oh, JJ and Selena. No, I didn't. People were saying that. I haven't caught wind of that. Like, I thought they and their co-parenting and stuff like that was amicable. I don't know, y'all. We'll have to see. But this was the first episode of Belle Collective. I am going to be reviewing the show as well as some other shows. So definitely stay tuned. And yeah, I don't have, where's it at? Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And also, if you're not aware, I do have a second channel, and that is called Barb Meets FBLE. Let me drop the link in the chat if you are not aware, so you can follow me over there as well. If you're into those other types of content, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep reviewing this show because I like it. It's definitely a breath of fresh air that I should say not fresh air because we're familiar with them, but it's definitely a much needed break from other stuff. So yeah, there you go. There's the link to my other channel if you're interested in following me over there. No, I thought you were saying something negative when people said they were Team Selena. No, no, I don't have an issue with either of them. And I'm sorry to see that they could possibly have an issue with each other or anything like that. I do hope that it's just marketing and it's not really going to be something super serious that's happening. Because again, yes, they are a blended family, and I never want to see people just having a whole bunch of issues, when you could just not have issues. But nonetheless, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share, you guys. I appreciate you all for coming through, hanging out with me for this very impromptu live. It's been just about an hour. So let me know again if you're going to be playing this back. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's chat and all that good stuff. And I will definitely be catching you guys in the next one. I'm not going to play my outro because I'm actually working on another one right now. But yeah, I watched them on YouTube. I've never seen that and stuff. Yeah, so let's not hope that they are going to be having issues after this just for a freaking TV show. I've said that so many times this week. Just the whole like over a TV show. Like people have been doing a lot over TV shows lately. So let's hope that that's not the case. But anyway, nonetheless, I enjoyed you all. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.